Evening folks, Brian here, Geomagnetic Earth Watch on December 31st, 2023 on our planet. Hope you're well. So as you know, we had an X5 flare pop off from region 3536 on the east limb of the sun. Now I actually knew this was going to happen. I was watching in that region when we had an M1 flare earlier on today, right here. I decided I was going to take my rest first before I got into it. We do have an increase in our gauge proton flux here, and I'm going to show you an example once again on the power lines in front of my house, how we have an induced current going across. So let's just take a look here. Now that region started flaring starting in the C range, working its way up to the M1, then the X5 class flare. And you can see from this table here, from region 3536, it started in the C range. And so it only took about 13 hours, 13 and a half hours to get up to the X5 class range. Now this was just as it's just starting to come around to the east limb of the sun, so we don't know what it was doing before then. So we have our departing regions leaving us. They're not going to present any further problems here. The flare that just went off today was from region 3536, just coming around the east limb. The only thing in between that we have to keep an eye on is perhaps this region here. This will be with us for a few more days until it rotates out of Earth-facing view. So we're going to take a look at a couple of views here. So this is our region here that just flared off. There's one. So again, the only thing in between that we got to be concerned about until this comes into Earth view is this region right here. Now let's not forget our coronal hole opening, which is now leaving us. Now some people got a little bit over exaggerated, massive, huge. You know what? It wasn't massive and huge. In fact, I think we're going to get just a very, very minimal increase in our solar wind speed. So again, departing sunspot groups, the only remaining one Earth facing right now, and then the X5 right there. Play it one more time. Alrighty then. So I remember my most recent video a couple of days ago. Just me personally, all right, this is not a Carrington level event. As far as it's affecting us inhabitants, us humans, our brains, I'm going to start watching for X5 and above flares. Now this one could have been much stronger than an X5 because it's only just coming off. The eastern limb. So there's one thing I noticed when it comes to our sun is that we have activity on one side. Then we have activity coming around on the other side with a blank space in the middle. So right now we have a blank spot with the exception of this one region right here, which may or may not present some problems. So it's going to be about, the time it's going to take for this region here, 3536, to transition across the Earth-facing side is going to be about 12 to 14 days. So we have up to 2 weeks that we really got to pay attention to this sunspot grouping right here. Boom, that one there. So actually, again, I was watching this earlier on today when it was an M1. I was then going to make my video to say watch out for an X-class flare, but it beat me to it and I need my rest. So our concern for the next several days as this region starts to rotate directly Earth view. We have a potential for another X-class flare, possibly exceeding X5. So this is an example, folks, when I'm saying that we're almost at solar maximum. If not, we're just about to reach the peak. So we have another 2 to 3 years of this, and it will amplify and increase in frequency and intensity. So let's just wait for a moment right here. Boom. So this was an actual a 31-minute duration flare. So remember I said before, flares can last several minutes to even a few hours. So that did produce an R3 radio blackout and did increase the proton flux. And I'll show you later on, or probably I'll try to include it in this video, those hydro lines in front of my house again are arcing, and that current is carrying across the horizontal bars. Give me a moment. Let's change this around. So in my opinion, at this time, this region here is not going to produce a Carrington level type event. Now remember, back in September 1859, our shields were 100% full strength. They are not anymore. And right now I'm talking about the physiological, neurological effects that these flares are going to be having on us. So, for example, if that X5 was more Earth facing, this is what I'm talking about, that you would have definitely have felt it. You would have felt that ringing in the ear, the sudden imbalance, the sudden dizziness and vertigo, maybe even falling to the floor. And I'm actually even having some internet interference right now, so she's running slow. Now, it's way too soon to tell if this flare here produced a CME, even a halo CME. Patients will find out in due time. So once again, go back to my video. How are you going to know you're going to feel it? And we'll keep an eye on this region right here. I'll be back soon. So one of the indicators for me that we have some perhaps some ionospheric charging approaching radiation storm levels is I have a couple of hydro poles in front of me, high voltage poles actually, and the current gets passed through from one end of the horizontal bars to the other, in between the insulators. A little bit grainy, but so aside from Grumpy Family, I just go outside and I take a look and see what the hydro lines are doing. There you go, folks. I'm going to try and be back one more time tonight.